Star Trek The Next Generation came out in 1987. And here in 2019, you may think that a show that is over 30 years old isn't all that great, but I am here today to tell you how great Star Trek TNG still is to this day. Give a little brief history of my Star Trek knowledge. My mom is a huge Star Trek fan, and I've always watched episodes throughout the years, but I never have seen the series from start to finish, and that's for TNG, the original series, Voyager, DS9, all of it. But The Next Generation was always my favorite one to watch when she had it on. So finally, this past month and a half, I have finally went and watched all Star Trek The Next Generation. I have yet to watch the movies on my, I guess, kind of rewatch or first time viewing, however you want to look at it, because I've seen some episodes, but I have not watched the movies yet. I'm going to do that here soon, but I'm just strictly talking about the series right now. So I've seen the movies years ago, but I want to rewatch them with all my Star Trek knowledge now. So please don't spoil the movies if you've seen them. So getting back into the show itself, season 1 isn't all that great. Everyone knows that. And the season 2 finale isn't all that great also. But overall, the series is really, really great still. I enjoyed myself so much more than I thought I was going to. Now, of course, there is some hokey and cheesy moments because it is an old show. But if you can get past that, the stories that they tell and all the characters and character development in this show is just tremendous. I enjoyed every second that I watched Star Trek The Next Generation. I was surprised how much I did enjoy it. I thought I'd like it, but I really did enjoy it. And honestly, it got me addicted to Star Trek. And now I'm watching DS9. And after that, I'm gonna watch Voyager. And I'm probably gonna watch Enterprise after that. And then I'm probably gonna go back and watch the original series after I watch all those. And then eventually when we get CBS All Access, of course, we're going to watch Star Trek Picard. And then I probably will watch Discovery too, because why not? You're already buying CBS All Access. But I am still shocked how much I really did love the series when I watched it. I can't wait to go back and see random episodes here and there, if it's on the BBC channel or if I just turn it on or whatever. I enjoyed it that much. I always thought a lot of the characters were cool when I would watch it with my mom or whatever, but seeing every episode, I gotta say, I love Captain Picard. I love Commander Riker. I love Data. All those characters are so great. And of course, you gotta like the whole crew, right? Worf is great. Geordi's awesome. Deanna has her moments, she's cool too. And then Beverly Crusher, and people giving all this hate to poor Wesley Crusher. I thought he was really good. I didn't have any issue with him at all, especially compared to a lot of child actors at any time in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever. He did a really good job. He did not annoy me really ever compared to some shows with child actors, and it just drives me crazy. All of Carl, season 1 and 2 of The Walking Dead. But man, Star Trek TNG is still so great. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed it, like I said. The season 3 finale of TNG with Locutus of Borg showing up, damn, that was so cool. I thought that moment actually happened in the movies as I was trying to remember some of the stuff that I watched as a kid. But obviously it didn't. It didn't super surprise me, but it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, this happens now. Man, when Picard shows up as Locutus of Borg and he's going to try to destroy the Enterprise, he kills thousands of people in Starfleet. That was a super cool, and how Riker orders to fire and kill Picard, even though, it's not Picard, it's Locutus, but all that is such a great episode. That's probably my favorite 2 episodes in all of Star Trek TNG. Those were great. And there's obviously a ton of great episodes throughout the entire show's run, but I would say those 2, the season 3 finale and the season 4 premiere, are probably my 2 favorite. And I gotta say, the finale of the show was done so well. So many shows struggle with putting a definitive end to a television show. Even if you bring it back from movies or do a spinoff or whatever, a lot of shows still struggle with it. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. But Star Trek TNG ended the show very, very well. I love how it connected to the future, the past, the present, and it told everyone's stories very well, and it focused on Picard correctly, and I really did enjoy the finale. Now, season 7 in a whole, since it's fresh, I just watched it only a few days ago, I did not love season 7. It is probably one of my least favorite seasons because it felt like so many one-off episodes and there was no big plot going on. There was a little bit of the whole Cardassian war because I know it ties into DS9, but season 7 really kind of limped to the finish line, but the finale itself was awesome. I loved All Good Things. It was great. I enjoyed it. It had its happy moments, its sad moments, its funny moments, but it felt like Star Trek, and it felt like a definitive end, but also a beginning to something new, and I really did enjoy that. I love how they're able to show the future, but it's an alternative future what we're going to get in even the Star Trek movies. I know it's different because life goes on and stuff is going to alter, and even in the Picard show, who knows how much of it is similar and not similar to All Good Things, because All Good Things, I think it's supposed to be in 2395, and the Picard show is going to take place in 2399, I believe. Because I think Nemesis, I know I haven't watched the movie, but I've done some research, because Nemesis is supposed to take place in 2379, I believe, and it's supposed to be 20 years after that. So simple math means 2399, and that's when Star Trek Picard is supposed to happen, and I cannot wait for that show. Like I said, I've always thought Picard was super cool, and he's honestly my favorite character in the show, for sure. And like I said, I like all the other characters, but when I heard that the Picard show is coming back, that definitely kind of kicked my ass into motion to go and watch Star Trek TNG, because I've always kind of wanted to, but it's just always kind of like, it will always kind of be there. It's never going anywhere. But with Patrick Stewart coming back to play Picard in his own show, it got me into motion, and now I'm addicted to Star Trek. I love it. It's so great. You know, you're allowed to love Star Wars and Star Trek. It's okay. I love both of them. Both franchises are great in their own right. I've always said this. I think Star Trek, even before I really watched Star Trek, just from what I saw of like the current movies in the Kelvin timeline, I think Star Trek and their universe is better than Star Wars, but the mythology of Star Wars will forever trump Star Trek, because the mythology of the Jedi and the Sith and lightsabers and the Force and all that is just so cool and inventive, and it's kind of relatable, but it's kind of not, because obviously it's not real. So the mythology of Star Wars will always out-trump Star Trek, but the universe of Star Trek, I think, is better fleshed out and way more creative than Star Wars itself. So they both have their pros and cons. We're allowed to like both. We're all just nerds at the end of the day, right? We're all allowed to like Star Trek and Star Wars. So I know this wasn't an in-depth review of Star Trek TNG, because there's just way too many episodes to go over, but these are just my thoughts on Star Trek here in 2019. I think it's still a tremendous show today. I would recommend it to anyone. And even if you're kind of thinking of getting into Star Trek and you want to know a jumping off point, I would say watch Star Trek TNG and then go elsewhere, whatever show you want to watch from there, because to me, TNG is the epitome of Star Trek. I know the original series is around and exists, and it's fun in its own right, but TNG, I think, encapsulates Star Trek to the best of its abilities, and it's just great. Start there at TNG, and then go watch DS9 or Voyager or Enterprise or Discovery or the original series, whatever. But I would recommend that TNG is the starting off point for anyone that is trying to get into Star Trek. It's great. It's pretty easy to follow. There's wonderful stories, really good arcs, and that's what I'd recommend. The question is, have you guys watched TNG here recently? I want to know down below in the comments. And while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We're getting close to 570 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. So thanks once again, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.